revolution. This is the revolution. I wanna hear everybody sing. Everybody sing.
Good night to my honorable political leader. Good night to all the MPs and senators present here tonight. And a special good night to my UNC family, both present here and those locked on every virtual platform. Tonight, we are here to discuss the nation's business. And I want to share a few concerns with you. And I would start by telling a story. True, you will know the song, because our Calypsonians have sung our history, and this song is so relevant here today. The sun rises slowly over the hills. By now you know who sang this song. Everywhere is golden sunlight, but still, most nights with sad tales are crowded. Their days with dark clouds are shrouded. They don't smile, and with this government, they never will. The hills of Lavantil were once alive with a song of music, but after years of neglect, only one song is heard. One song, and that is the cry and screams of mothers today. Sadly, we took that member of parliament for that particular area and made him our security minister. Now the mothers of our beloved nation are all crying and screaming. The PNM government are like vultures, for only they get their fill. All we as the citizens get are empty promises from year to year. No running water from year to year, as pipes are always still. In Murga Tableland, we know this all too well. No road repair till election is near. But this fiscal year, Faris, he will work all year round. No food cards till the campaigning mushri starts. Every constituency could attest to this here tonight. Then, as they assume office, everything gets shut down. Echoed by the silence of a loud message every citizen would have heard for the last 7 years. And you know what is that? We already have your vote, so please depart. And you know how they say that? They tell us to buy bicycle and coal pot. How can you take a food card from a single unemployed mother? Can you tell me how can a sitting minister do that? We ask them this question day after day in the nation's parliament. But this government is not bothered. No jobs means every cupboard is always bare and scanty. 10 people live in a one-bedroom shanty, forced to sell on the pavement. No vacancies, no employment. When would they make the link that unemployment influences the crime level? When would this government make that link? Opportunities, well, they always scarce and non-existent with this government. Well, today is a day we can't tell firecracker from gunshots, because blood does run when things get hot. A lie? Afraid to look out my window, because the last thing I might hear or you might hear is Bodo. How many more must die before we awake from our slumber? Men, women, and children living in constant danger. Is that what we signed up for? Just ask the children of Rose Hill Primary School, who only last week had to duck for cover. Is that what parents send in their school for? No. When you send your child to school, you expect them to go and be safe and to come back home safe to you. But Lord help us all. Mothers just hold the head and bawl. But by the grace of Almighty God, you see, these Trinidadian women, we're stronger than a wall, because we have to protect our families from this PNM invasion and dictatorship. We feel it when we go to the groceries. It is not easy to face each day with skeletal opportunities, you know. Yes, like Shadow say, poverty is hell. And every day, the mothers in this country, who are the ones that have to purchase, they get burned. But sadly, the burn from the lion lips of the Prime Minister hurts them more. You know what he said? Because he said the rich have to get richer for the poor to benefit. When would the poor benefit in this country? When will it all end? Is what you may be asking yourself here tonight. But you know when it will end? When we, as a party, as a people of Trinidad and Tobago, will remove this government from office. When we will say enough is enough. How much more? 500 and climbing? That is our brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. They have to be removed. One night in bed, you're sleeping. Where I am from, this is reality. One night in bed, you're sleeping, as Singing Sandra said. Next night is a wake that you're keeping. You may not have experienced this. You talk to the person the day before, and by the time you reach home, you get a phone call, you're doubting. You tell the person you lie. I don't believe you, I just talked to John. The story of every young man in this country today. Shot and killed, but they died. You know when they died? A long time ago. When they stopped dreaming because of lack of opportunities and stopped believing that their life was worth something. They stopped believing because life became a revolving door of no's and not yet and maybe. This is the cry of mothers in rural communities and hotspot communities because they are bringing up their children in a society that is not catering for them. They cry because this government don't care. A mother's cry. And you know what hurts the most tonight, Trinidad and Tobago? This is a cry that is not being heard by the people, by the women of the PNM. But if I put out a statement, Anita put out a statement, my political leader make a statement, they have the world to say. But they are not hearing the cries of fighting for the vulnerable amongst us. But they always have the most to say about nothing. And you know who are these mothers? These mothers have high portfolio. And some of them are women, single women like myself. They have high portfolio in the cabinet. This is the Minister of Education, Community Development, Housing Development, Social Development. But they are not hearing the cries of the mothers of this nation. They are not hearing the cries of the young men that are asking for an opportunity. They don't want handout and hampers, you know. When they call my office, they want a job. But where do I direct them? How do I direct them? When I am dealing with a Minister of Labor, you know what he said? He's not responsible to find a job for you. That is what he said, you know. He's not responsible. In my constituency, I'm dealing with an unemployment rate of over 3,000. And this is not figures that I pulled out of a hat. This is figures that is reflective of the resumes that would have been received, of the persons that would have put their name on an employment listing, every contractor that comes into the constituency. But this government is not creating opportunities. What they create are lies. I'm still waiting on a farm school that was promised since 2020, but they lost Moruga Tableland. So that farm school, we may never see. Ladies and gentlemen, our young men don't feel that they belong in today's society. The young men in rural community, when they look on at their counterparts, they feel that they are getting less. And the irony is they are being filled with empty promises. They are only good to dance the street when it's time for red and ready. But when it's time Monday morning to go to a job, they are not good. But empty promises are like feeding someone poison. And Trinidad and Tobago have been filled or fed poison for the last 40-something years under this PNM, for we have been neglected. But this poison was camouflaged as a plate of good food, or sometimes they print it in the form of a manifesto. When the deception is realized, the damage is already done. That happened to us in 2020, When we realized the deception, the PNM was already elected into office. And now we are faced with a people who are dying slowly because of this PNM government. In many houses, in many homes, support systems are few because we are dealing with what is called generational neglect. We have no support system. This government has pulled the rug from under my constituents in Murga Tabelon. There's a history of neglect of rural areas of the country. When development is discussed and planned, it happens where, or it is executed where the PNM finances dictate. They don't tell us that on the campaign trail that we would get nothing. Lack of development, both infrastructural and economics, are linked to the levels of crime. When would they make this link? Limiting rural constituents access to basic needs and services, as well as opportunities for employment and advancement. These are the reasons our crime levels are so high. A case in point, a flourishing drug and illegal gun trade by predators that prey on our young men and women who they know have been neglected, and they feed on their insecurities and the need to provide for their families. In my constituency, over 10 persons have been murdered so far for the year. However, apart from the drug trade, I am being faced with vehicular theft, supermarkets being robbed, home invasion, and would you believe that they even rob a 60-year-old person selling ice cream to pay his electrical bill? Now, these stories can be found just by a Google search, and these are experience of my constituents. All they are asking for is a job, is an opportunity to eradicate the crime in our area. No, we have protested. We have stand against this wicked administration. Protests would have happened in Siparia, Cedros, Murga, Tabakit, Barapor, Rio Claro, Tableland, 6 Company. Every town and village, I believe, would have stand up. These protests were about the absence of waters in our taps, deplorable roads, and landslips destroying our homes, and dilapidated conditions of our schools. Just last week, I had OSHA closing down the Murga Anglican School as a result of the school being unsafe for my students. And I, as an MP, I am currently donating my Bojeje office for the children to use. And I want to show you a video here today that will reflect my roadways and what my constituents have to bear. This video has an audio, so I will let it play. But this particular village have been neglected. PNM administration for assistance. Go ahead.
Road gave road under the truck, and the truck just stepped back. No vehicles couldn't pass here. To try to make this possible.
Gas truck does not no longer comes into the community. We do not get water for the school. We do not get basic amenities. The bread van, etc. doesn't come in. It's been very difficult for many villagers.
I had to go to the garden, and this is the road I pass, and I had to stop before and walk over, and know the car can pass. It's Carlo. Try to go jack up right in the road there. So I had to leave the car on the side and walk over.
and 6.
It will have to close down. It will have nothing to sell in the shop.
What you saw there is what my constituents have to go through, and that is just one street. This exists in Russia Douglas, Barapore, Mantecool, 2nd Branch, and I have a list of over 76 roads. But tonight, my time is nearing to an end, but I would be back and we will keep communicating. But the answer to this problem is to remove this PNM government and put back Kamla Prasad Visesa. I thank you.
My brothers and sisters, let's all